Willie D Live.
What's up, family? Let's talk about an uncivilized mutt. Gonzalo Leon Jr. He is one of the absolute worst, and he is what is wrong with this country we live in, where everybody feels the need to pull out a gun to resolve their differences and conflicts. Yeah, this uncivilized mutt shot an 11-year-old boy in the back. Not because the 11-year-old boy was shooting at him, not because he had burglarized his house and he mistakenly thought he was a grown man. Family, he killed the boy because the boy rung his doorbell and ran away. You know, half of us would be dead right now if the adults who we grew up around had shot us in the back for ringing their doorbell or throwing an egg at their car or chunking rocks. Now, I understand, fam, that stuff is annoying and some of it can be dangerous. You know, throwing toilet paper in people's yard, putting the toilet paper in their trees. It's very annoying. But you don't get a kid back like that, man. Let me give you the backstory. 11-year-old Julian Guzman was hanging out in Houston with his cousin, and they were bored. So they decided to play a game of ding dong ditch, whereas you walk up to people's houses, you ring their doorbell or you knock on the door, and you take off running. It's usually one of those things that kids do just to try to blow a little steam, have a little fun. They even recorded themselves ringing the doorbell, knocking on the doors, taking off running. Well, they rung this uncivilized mutt's doorbell 2 times. The 3rd time, dude hides out. He's waiting for them to come back and do it again. They come back and do it again. And as they're running away, he shoots one warning shot in the ground and the second warning shot into Julian's back. Yeah. Now, as I said before, fam, yeah, it's annoying. But who wants that on their record? I would not want on my record that I killed a kid for ringing my doorbell. There's a number of actions he could have taken, and he would still be at home right now instead of being in jail, being held on a $1 million bond for murder. And Julian would be at home, or maybe he'd be at school right now. In any event, he would be alive. Parents, if you have kids or other youngsters that you're responsible for, warn them to do not play those type of games. Do not play ding dong ditch. Do not throw eggs at people's cars. Do not go into people's yards and throw toilet paper in the trees. None of that stuff. All of those pranks, that's over. All that kid stuff like that, that's over. Those days are over because they can get themselves killed. Okay? Youngsters, if you're listening to me, do you think a few giggles is worth sacrificing your life? There are some crazy maniacs out there. You got one life to live. You absolutely cannot roll a dice with it. You cannot take it for granted because somebody will take it away from you, and they don't care how old you are. Now, I thought about it. put myself in that position. Yes, I would be mad. I would be totally upset about somebody playing with me like that. I'm gonna keep it a buck with y'all, fam. I'm not finna just say something just to get some cool points. If it had been me and I wanted to go to the extreme, my extreme would have been to chase him down and kick him in the ass. I'm sorry, fam. No, I'm not. I'm not sorry. Look, I got to teach him a lesson. So I'm saying if I would have been mad enough, the most I would have done is kicked him in the ass and say, stop, man. Y'all stop playing with me, you know? The least, grab him, give him a good scolding. Where you live at? Take them to their mom and daddy. Look, your son did this. Woo, 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 woo. And then in most cases, that would be the end of that. And this is what grown-ups used to do back in the Gap. You know, if they catch you doing something like that, they snatch you up and then pull up on your house and tell your mama and your daddy what's going on. But these adults today are something different. I really do believe that a number of adults just really hate children. And I can see why some children hate them. I can see why. Even the way they talk about the kids today. Oh, this generation cook. Oh, this generation woo. Yeah, man, this generation got some work to do. But we had some work to do too. And the adults in our generation, although they were critical of us, they never wrote us off. And keep in mind when you talk about this generation of kids, you're also, when you're critical of them, you're being critical of all of them. You're putting them all in one pot. You're stroking with a broad brush. It's a small percentage who causes all of the ruckus. So they need to be pointed out. They absolutely need to be pointed out, reprimanded, whatever. But you don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. It sounds like to me this is what dude did. He killed a kid over ringing his doorbell. That's why I say, fam, there's so many people out here that's unhinged. Anybody that's trying to make an excuse for this uncivilized mutt need to walk to the nearest cliff and keep walking. So that brings me to this new revelation. This sucker is now facing a capital murder charge. Well, and he could be eligible for the death penalty, life in prison or the death penalty. Now you got to really look at this and say, damn, was that worth it? So you know what you're going to do, but you don't know what the next person is going to do. You don't know what the judicial system is going to do. You don't know what law enforcement is going to do. You think you're right because, oh, this is my house. You can't just knock on my door and run. You can't ring my bell and leave. You can't pull up in my driveway. This is my driveway. You can't pull up even if you're just trying to turn around. You can't accidentally knock on my door. It's my door. I get to kill anybody who accidentally knock on my door. You damn fool, you're going to jail. This is why I say we need to invest in mental health initiatives. There are a lot of people in this country that needs some type of therapy, some type of medicine. Some people need to be all the way sedated every day. Otherwise, they're going to kill the rest of us. They are going to destroy the rest of us. I don't know what happened. I don't know if it's in the water, if it's in the food. I don't know if it's the programming. Maybe it's all of the above. But there are a lot of people in this country who are unhinged. They do not have the skills to cope with rejection. They don't have the skills to cope with disappointment, frustration, loss. These fools need to be put down. That is animalistic behavior. You shooting somebody because they knocked on your door and ran. They rung your doorbell and ran, and he cannot act like, oh, I thought that was an adult. Even if it was an adult who did it, you do not shoot somebody in the back for ringing your doorbell and running. You just don't do that, man. And that is indicative of a person who should not be living amongst the civilized. He should be caged. He's in the right place right now. And that's where he needs to stay. Why give him a bond? I don't understand that part. Because what if he makes the bond and he's right back out on the street? He's still unhinged. He's still walking around with the same brain that he used to kill an 11-year-old kid. He's walking around with the same understanding that he used to kill an 11-year-old kid. If a person is that much of a danger, why should they get a bond at all? He is a danger to society. It's time for him to go. Yeah, he got to go. No more talk.